Dear Pastor Bob, I've started to see a girl who isn't a Christian, and I would like to hear your thoughts about it. This is a really difficult subject because our heart is the one that is the thing that engages when we fall in love, and sometimes it's difficult to tell your heart who to fall in love with. It's not the first time that's happened. It's happened to me. We fall in love, well, we call it falling in love, but we fall in, it's called Twitter-pated. Did you ever see Bambi, the Walt Disney movie? That's what they said, your heart is Twitter-pated, you're in love. It's a great word, and it kind of describes that feeling that we get sometimes, and just out of the blue for people that, our heart doesn't nitpick about exactly who it is. There they are. That kind of feeling, that love feeling that we have at the very beginning is a different kind of love. It's the love that's attracted. I like the way you look. I like the way you smell. I like the way you think. All of those things. And then it becomes a mature love a little later on. There are 3 stages that every single relationship goes through. And the first one is the stage where you feel like they're perfect, nothing could go wrong. It's that feeling of love and that feeling of excitement and all of those things. And that first stage is great because it's the very thing that brings 2 people together. The romantic stage. The second stage is called the realistic stage. That's the tough one, because that's when you see the person, actually for who they are, and you realize they might not be as perfect as you thought they would be. The realistic stage is where those things that you used to say was kind of cute isn't so cute anymore. Where you begin to see some things that maybe you're not so compatible with. And after having said that you never fight, that you never argue, you have just a perfect relationship, you start to fight a little bit. And you realize that maybe it's not as perfect as you thought. The realistic stage. And it's the realistic stage where people break up. Unfortunately, if you get married too soon before going into the realistic stage, it's the place where a lot of people get divorced. The romantic stage, the realistic stage, but there's one more. It's called the secure stage. It's when you get through the first 2 and you're still standing and you still like the other person, you still love them, and it's mature now because you see them, you know who they are, you've built a relationship upon some very important foundations, and now you're secure. And romance returns big time during the 3rd stage. It's kind of exciting. Well, what do you do if you take the faith equation out? You get through the first stage just fine. The romantic stage doesn't necessarily need faith. It doesn't need a belief system. It doesn't need your faith in God necessarily, because your heart's engaged. You love the person. You love spending time with them. You think about them when you wake up, and you dream about them at night, and, it's that thing that happens. But it's the secure stage that you want to get to, which means you have to go through the realistic stage to get there. And the realistic stage says, I don't like the way you do this. I don't like the way you react with that. I see some flaws that are disturbing me a little bit. We're having more fights than we've ever had, and how do we get through it? Well, that's where the faith comes in. You didn't need it in the romantic stage, but man, do you need it in the realistic stage. Because you see, that's the thing that your foundation, their relationship, is based on. And I believe that the successful Christian marriages out there are the ones that are established in their faith. So when they hit the realistic stage, they have a faith in God to fall back on, and that's the thing that gets you through to the secure stage. You know, there's nothing better than having God in the center of your relationship. For your relationship to be centered in Him means that you've got to invite Him to do that. And by the way, when you're dating somebody who isn't a Christian, well, you may make it through the romantic stage, but you probably won't make it any farther. Why? Well, if your faith is important to you, it'll be a conflict. And it won't be the thing that you use to get through the realistic stage. You're going to want to say, wow, we're having some trouble, let's pray together. And they're going to say, I don't believe in prayer. I don't believe in your God. I don't want to solve it that way. And you have two different ways of solving a difficulty. You're probably not going to make it through. You know, there are all kinds of reasons why people say that you shouldn't date somebody who isn't a Christian, and some I agree with, some of them I don't. But I think this is the most important part of that. It's who you can go to when times get rough and how you establish your relationship in the foundations that are going to carry it through. Some food for thought. God bless you. Have a great day.